everyone, my name is Marie Major. Thank you so much for being here. And in this video, I want to talk about the podcast I was just on. I was a guest on Jeff Mara podcast, and he was so great. It was an amazing podcast, and I really appreciate him for holding space and just kind of having me on as a guest. And I love being a guest on somebody's podcast that has like an audience that is very tapped in and loves talking about the spiritual stuff, the woo-woo, as people like to call it, stuff. It's just great to be in that kind of environment, just because why not, right? It's great topics, and I love people who want to connect and speak about these subjects, because even though it might sound super woo to some people, it is very anchored and rooted in the collective and the work that I feel like most of humanity is trying to help do and love and connect and bring harmony to planet Earth. So Jeff found me on the Daily Show segment that I did about the Stargates. And if you haven't seen that, I recommend you go watch it. It was, being mocked, and I understand that. And I feel like a lot of people don't really maybe understand the whole idea and the subjects about the Stargates, and they just tie it to a movie or a TV series, which, by the way, I had no idea that there was a movie or a TV series, and I still have not seen it. But it is something much deeper. And the reason why I went on a comedy show knowing I was going to be kind of mocked, laughed at, and I know somebody in the spiritual community said to me, "Oh, you disrespected the gates. They're sacred." And I understand that. And anybody who's viewing in who has a very deep spiritual connection and are very just tapped into this energy work, that was never my intention, and I apologize if I offended anybody. And I also am not speaking about this lightly. I take what is happening and occurring on the planet right now and what is happening in Iran very, very dear to my heart. I hold space, I meditate, I pray, and this is not a light subject I'm trying to speak about. When I express about the Stargates, I am trying to bring more of an awareness for people to understand how we are all connected, that we are co-creating as humanity, as a collective together, and what is the inner work and what is the work we can be doing with one another to really help expand and evolve this planet, to really bring the ascension that really needs to take place in our timeline. So with that being said, I very much try to keep speaking up about the people who have lost their lives, also speaking about the many genocides that have happened in Africa, also speaking about Sudan, Congo, Palestine. This is where I stand. And if anybody doesn't feel aligned to that, and I know there's a lot of also spiritual people that even have said to me lately, like, look, I don't like that you are being political or you're speaking about this. Like, you used to speak so much about spirituality and energy work and how I can manifest and how I can get on my highest timeline. And yes, I still am gonna do all that, but also I've always been like this since I've been a child, and I've always used my voice to really stand up for what I believe is right and speak up for what I think we can be doing as a collective and what we can be doing to become better human beings. So I've always been like this. This is nothing new. I think maybe just the spiritual community can sometimes get into a bubble and look away, which to me, that is not true healing. You can't be healing and then not be authentic about what is happening. So this is where, yes, the Stargates are very sacred, but I want to speak about it from a level of awareness and understanding of how can we connect with the gates, How can we educate ourselves? How can we hold space and prayers for what is happening? And, I really, just like how I was saying on the podcast with Jeff, he asked me something along the lines about what with the government, do I believe this is why the war is happening? Well, the government, all the government officials, the president, they haven't given us an honest answer why they are bombing Iran, why this is happening. They haven't given us a straight answer. So this is me sharing my spiritual lens, the energy work I do, me tapping in with my guides, what I'm seeing from a cosmic level. And I am allowing this to be shared. And some people align with it, some people won't. But I think it is an important message if we really want to start healing humanity. Because yes, there's been physical wars that have taken place, but underneath that, it's always been a spiritual war. It's always been an energy of good versus evil, an energy of forgetting versus remembering. It's always been almost as simple as people not doing the inner work, which is it's like sad to say, because there's so many souls who are losing their lives. People are losing their loved ones. And I don't speak about this lightly. I really, really don't. And I apologize if it's coming off wrong. But I really hope that with this message that there's a deeper layer, a deeper understanding, a deeper energy being woven into the fabric, into the tapestry, into the collective, where people actually begin to heal, begin to love, begin to bring harmony and oneness, and see that, okay, we have a lot of work to do as humanity. What is happening? And I really think we are. It's really bad right now, and I feel like it will continue to be pretty bad right now. But in the next few years, I believe we are going to be moving into a better point on planet Earth, on a higher consciousness, on a higher timeline, into a more advanced, more understanding, more loving energy as a collective. And we already see that with some stuff that are happening in the US, but it's almost like two sides. It's like a complete divide right now happening in the collective. We have these people over here, that's like I like to say the energy of forgetting. And then we have people over here that are in the energy of remembering. And over here in the energy of forgetting are souls and beings that have so much hatred, anger. They're not doing the inner work. They are racist. They are hoarding. They are dividing, and they are in a constant state of fear. Then we have an energy of souls, beings, entities that are loving, that are remembering, that are doing the inner work, that are trying to show up for the collective, trying to show up for humanity, trying their best to really remember and return back to the knowing that we all come from source, that we all come from creator, that we are all woven into this beautiful tapestry of artwork. But how are we showing up for one another? How are we treating one another? How are we showing up for ourselves? What is the dialogue? What are we putting out in the collective? What are we putting out in the universe? Because remember, everything is reflecting back. Everything is a mirror back. But that being said, I said on the podcast something like, do I believe that Trump and his people, or the mega people, know about the Stargate? So yes and no. Do I believe the forefront people know about the Stargate? No, but they are being fed and the energy, and they are in this energy of forgetting. So subconsciously, they keep being attracted to these low vibrational energy forms, these energy streams of consciousness that are streaming like I need to start a war. I need to divide. I need to control. I don't understand that religion, so I need to take it over here. I'm fearing this unknown thing I'm unaware of. So I have to control, I have to manipulate, I have to program, I have to very much take it into my hands, into my palms. But they're also, the forefront of the government are puppets to me. And they are other lower vibrational beings and souls that are pulling the strings. So there's other people who are negative, who maybe have been in this field for a very long time, who are aware that there is certain energy fields, certain points on planet Earth, certain nodes on the energy grid where there's frequency that is more interesting, more advanced, more tuned in. There's an energy of where they can't really understand, but there's this higher frequency happening in this part of the world. So, and there's many Stargates around planet Earth. And the whole idea about the Stargates is to connect us all together, because there was a false map, a fake map put into place by the system to separate us through borders, when that is not true. We are all connected. We are all one. Yes, there's beautiful countries, there's diversity, there's culture, there's different religion, different races. Yes, that is the most beautiful thing on planet Earth. But the whole idea about borders and let's make America great again, oh, like that is beyond triggering. So triggering, because we are all one. This is Gaia. This is Mother Gaia's planet. This is her planet. This is her place. And that being said, I want to make a point of, yes, I believe that there's people pulling the strings that know about this energy. Are there maybe some scientists, some military people, some maybe government officials that actually want to help humanity, who want to see humanity actually heal, that want to actually heal the Stargate? Yes, I believe, but it's only a very few, and the majority is very much in this place of fear, in this energy of forgetting. So what can humanity start doing? Well, humanity can start realizing that even though I'm on this side of the planet and there's stuff happening on the other side of the planet, doesn't mean that my energy doesn't matter. Because whatever frequency and vibration you are putting out into the universe, the Stargates, other people, humanity, the collective, the animals, nature, the planets, the cosmos, extraterrestrial beings, they're all picking up on what you are putting out. So the more that people become more aware of this and they begin to shift their energy into a state of awareness and be conscious and mindful, what am I putting out in the collective? What am I saying? What is the frequency of I'm holding? What is the vibration? How am I showing up for people? How am I showing up for myself? How am I showing up for my family? How am I showing up for the animals, for nature, for this world? These are mindful steps that will really help begin to heal the Stargates. And when we do that, we actually play a role in where there won't be war on planet Earth. And I know people won't agree with that, but if you believe everything is energy, you would believe that this is not just a physical war. There's been no such thing as just a physical war. There's been galactic wars, and there's been a spiritual war. And the spiritual war has been happening for very, 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 very long. And it is still very much alive and occurring. And I very much believe that war is between the forgetting versus the remembering. And you really have to ask yourself, what energy, what frequency am I landing into? What frequency am I tapping into? That is what is important here. Also, another thing with Jeff, I'm trying to think of other things we spoke about. Yeah, I spoke a little bit about my UFO experiences. Like as a child, I saw in Vancouver many UFOs. I believe, but I remember when I pointed them out to other children, I got made fun of, and they were like, "You're seeing things, that's not a UFO," and this and that. And I kind of always just began to keep that energy, what I'm seeing, to myself. Um, just because people are going to either believe it or not believe it, whatever. But I had like a little window in my bathroom as a child, and I used to look up at the sky, and it was open sky, and I know that I saw UFOs all the time because they were blue, green, they were vibrating in certain ways, they were sparkling, twinkling, like, and it's just, you would ask and you would receive the yes. It's intuition, people. So we are going to see a lot more of that happening. Remember, extraterrestrial beings are showing up as also butterflies, as animals. They are messengers. They're communicating with us through nature. And I remember also in Joshua Tree, I just saw this beautiful, just, maybe it was a star, to me it was a UFO, and it was green and blue again, and the energy I felt, the power, and it was just kind of showing me, being like, we are here. And I just wanted to bow down and give my gratitude, because I really believe that, yes, there's lower vibrational beings, there's lower extraterrestrial beings. Yes, there are lower vibrational, you can maybe say evil, whatever you want to call, but I don't like to put lineages or star beings or any extraterrestrial being into a box. I don't like to. You know, I like to hold space for them all. The reptilian civilization, I believe, a lot of them are healing. I do not believe they have an influence on planet Earth right now. They don't really have this energy of brainwashing humans right now. Yes, is there lower vibrational beings? Yes, is there lower ETs? Whatever you want to call it. And for example, there are also Starseeds, Pleiadians. There's lower evil Pleiadians that are in the energy of forgetting. But then there's a lot of positive ones. We can't get so mixed up in painting one lineage as evil or dark. That's the problem with, especially the spiritual community. We need to be mindful. A lot of the extraterrestrial beings, or even the starseeds, because a lot of us are starseeds on planet Earth right now. Our soul has traveled through different star constellations. We have come to planet Earth with a mission. Yes, there are also extraterrestrial beings that are maybe not coming to planet Earth, but they are passing by as messengers. Maybe some for good, maybe some for bad. But when I tap into the energy, a lot of them are actually wanting to help planet Earth, because the universe, the cosmos, have very much evolved from centuries ago. And planet Earth is slowly behind. There's a lot of planets that have healed and have evolved. There's a lot of dimensions that have healed and evolved. So this is where we have to be very mindful that they are there to help us. So anything, or any political party, any media outlet, anybody trying to paint them or try to really paint a narrative that you should be fearing this, to me, I feel like that is such lies, and it's false, and you have your own intuition. So you tap into what is aligned to you, what is in tune to you, and what is not. But to me, speaking, I very much believe nature, the planets, the cosmos, the stars, the extraterrestrial beings out there, they are here to help us. We just need to ask. we need to give our thanks. We need to give our love to them. We need to give our gratitude. This is about a relationship. Everything on planet Earth is relationships. What is our relationship with the stars, with the cosmos, with God, with Creator, with other human beings, with animals? What is our relationship? Anyways, that being said, this video went way too long. Comment down below if there's any themes you want me to speak about. I'm going to dive deeper, more into some Stargates that are coming up, like Antarctica and Stargate Egypt. So stay tuned for that if you're very interested in the Stargate world and speaking about it. And I just want to say thank you again, and thank you to Jeff for having me on. That was amazing. I'm very blessed that he just holds space for people like us who want to have these conversations and trying to really bring and bridge humanity together. Thank you so much for watching.